What is up, everybody? Welcome into another Sunday edition of More Important Issues. It's time to get going after a restful weekend, or I hope everybody's has been. Hope it's been good. We are going to talk some baseball, Tennessee baseball, College World Series. It is mayhem in Omaha, and not for the usual reason it is this time of year. Different reason, more not as bad, but not good. Not a good look for the NCAA, who should be starting the NIL stuff here soon, and maybe looking like they were. I mean, the Supreme Court made them. Like the fact that, I don't know, it was pretty hilarious that non-judges agreed on something. I don't think that happens often, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, not a good week for the NCAA, that's for sure. We'll also talk some recruiting news, some guys on campus. Football's got some guys camping. Been a busy week on that front, and getting busier with the roster. I mean, you can't do anything about it now for 2021, but the roster's not in great shape. I'm sure we'll discuss plenty of that, as well as a guy that got dismissed from the team, guy that left team, all that good stuff. Not good stuff, but you get it.
We got to talk about it.
We got to talk about it. Expectations for the season, as far as 2021 goes. I thank the baseball team for making it baseball season as long as possible. It is summer now, and in Knoxville, and I think most of the SEC country, it is football season officially. Mississippi State and Vanderbilt get the pleasure of not looking ahead yet. So good for them, I guess. If you get there, you get there.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that how Vanderbilt. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but the fact that Tennessee was able to put an L in the season of two of the teams that are playing for a national title is pretty special in itself. And that just goes to show you how good that team was. Didn't turn out the way you wanted it in Omaha, but still a really good team and a special season. I know we talked about that a lot last week, but man, it was fun while it lasted. And, we get less of a off season. Me and you, it's hard to fill that space without any Tennessee sports, but they're able to go late in June, and that's all you can ask for.
Oh, absolutely, made it a lot easier. And we'll also have segments, of course. If you've got questions, drop them in the chat. Tell us where you're listening from. Big geography guys, obviously, no big deal. Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, big geography guys, and gals. They're opening up a new campus. I don't know how that works. They are now Martin Methodist College. I don't know if that was by force or by agreement. All right, we're pioneers of some sort. But yeah, new campus. So
where is Martin Methodist? I didn't hear about this. I'm sorry.
Pulaski, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. They're going to have a new undergrad college, or like whatever it's called. But yeah, it's a new 4-year school. It'll be UT Southern, I believe, will be the name of it. So.
Okay, cool.
So now Tennessee will have campuses in all 3 divisions of Tennessee, East, Middle, and West.
UT Martin, UT Southern, and UTK?
And UT Chattanooga.
UTC, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Cool.
Yeah, big geography people over there as well. All right, well, Landon's going to tell you guys about some of the people that make this show possible, and we're going to get going. Jump for questions.
Check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. Here's a quick word from our good friends at Blue Water Climate Control.
People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back.
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Brought it by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Stand by for you, 6 men. made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
God, hearing Peyton. Sorry.
No, go. I'm with you.
But hearing Peyton just kind of made me a little bit angry.
Angry, interesting.
Just because, like, he's a bad luck charm.
I'm going to refute that.
His record is not like he's got to realize like his record when he attends a game when they put the spotlight on him like it. I don't know what it does, but Tennessee just does not win in front of Peyton Manning.
But what's Tennessee's record when Peyton's not there? Because it can't be that much better. If any.
That's probably true. But he goes to the big games that we need to win.
Yeah, but I mean Tennessee won a lot when he played here, and I mean I also like. I mean, I don't know how many. I mean, I'm sure he went to pretty much the same amount of games early in his career as far as football, probably once a year or whatever, due to off season bye week. So, but I mean, I'm
But does he not get tired of going and being like, dude, every time I come to this place, they freaking lose.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that's. I mean, surely the thoughts crossed his mind. I don't know, but
or his kids, like his kids have to think that too, right?
Oh, someone tweeted that because his son was sitting next to him in Omaha. They were like, "Dad, why do you keep bringing us to this team that loses?" So that's a fair point that I hadn't considered. The kids have got to be very, very, very confused. Right. They, that's a great point. But
I love this team in orange so much; they're not very good.
Yeah, for real. He's like, I mean, every time we come, they lose. It doesn't make sense. I don't even know if I've ever seen them win. Yeah, that's a great point. He was in Omaha. Tony Vitello's staying. I know we talked about it a little bit on Wednesday. That guy's report was true. LSU, they hired the Arizona guy.
Jay Johnson. He was at Nevada before I think he spent 4 years at Arizona. He was previously at Nevada. So, yeah, good hire, great hire, actually. Props to you, LSU. You made Tennessee fans sweat it out a little bit, but we kind of knew in the back of our heads that, Tony Vitello, just the vibe we got, it just didn't seem like he was interested. But, when it's a program like an LSU or something like that, and then being a Tennessee fan, you just know that the worst is coming. So you just expected, something bad was going to happen. Something was going to be on the tracks of that train. But it's still rolling, baby. Yeah, like you said, not surprising that LSU didn't get Tony Vitello. Don't truly know how much involved he was in that search. He said that he hadn't spoken with LSU when he was asked at the College World Series. Now, whether his agent had done it or not, that doesn't exactly answer that question. So not entirely sure how involved he is or was in that. But yeah, he's there's definitely something to what he's already built at Tennessee and what he plans to build. I know there was, for me, some questions. Obviously, there was publicly some stuff said about the commitment to the baseball program, but until you really put up, it's kind of hard to really say how committed you are. So until the ground breaks on some new stuff at Tennessee, I'm not gonna praise Danny White for anything that how he's handled the situation. Break ground. Let me see the contracts roll in for Vitello or the assistant coaches, and I'll believe that Tennessee's truly committed. So that that being there, I think, made me kind of fear in the back of my head. It's easy to say you support a guy fully, but when it comes down, down to time to write the check, are you writing the checks or not? And we haven't seen it yet, but we'll, to be determined. As far as you live to see another day. You didn't lose Tony Vitello,
right?
You still got him on campus, so that's I guess that's the hardest part. When you're dealing with this, but yeah, I'm sure Scott Woodward talked to Tony Vitello's agent. He was the national coach of the year. How do you not just reach out and be like, hey, is there any interest? And it just seemed like the answer was no. So LSU fans can probably just shut up, I guess. I think they'd be more than happy to have Tony Vitello, but since they didn't, they want to say, well, he wasn't even on our list. Yeah, that's probably because he didn't have any interest to be on your list. Yeah,
LSU. That argument's dumb. It's always a dumb one. That it's the rejection one. Oh, I didn't want you anyways, and it's a terribly dumb argument because LSU fans did want him. But yeah, he's here to stay, and he signed a lifetime contract at the Fan Day, so good for him. Congratulations! Shout out to Kevin Valones, I think is his name on Twitter. His wife for the awesome poster. Got to get Danny White's signature, I think, to make it 100% official. You at least got one signature on it, and
you still take it to court.
Yeah, exactly. And that, as far as the outlook of this Tennessee baseball program, talking about its trajectory, I think the aspect of wanting to build something special is important to Tony Vitello. I think the fact that he's going to be the guy to do it at Tennessee makes him, that kind of, turns the gears for him, getting to be the guy to do it rather than just being maybe, whether you're successful or not, LSU baseball is already LSU baseball. Right now, the story of Tennessee baseball is very much so, still being written. It's like the chapters haven't even been decided. Whereas LSU baseball, you just be another chapter. That's attractive to a lot of guys. I mean, when Alabama job comes available, like Alabama's Alabama, it's attractive for that reason. But building something special is important to people. Now, got to have the resources to do it. It's hard to do on your own. So, like I said, we'll see with commitment.
Yeah, and he talked with, I think, Joe Rexrod about the loyalty thing and, how Tennessee gave him that first opportunity when even his alma mater didn't at Missouri. And I mean, thanks, Missouri, for that, because that should have been an easy hire. And you went. I mean, I guess like looking back, you kind of say that, but maybe if he doesn't work out at Tennessee, then it is what it is. But it just like look at LSU or look at Missouri baseball and look at Tennessee baseball right now, and it's because of Tony Vitello. So I appreciate them not giving him that opportunity.
Oh yeah, hindsight's definitely 2020. I don't know if I know I wasn't like. That's a great hire Tennessee's made, especially because the faith in John Curry wasn't there from the get-go. But obviously it ended up working out. Hey, one good thing, John Curry. That's the thing Tennessee's been able to do with its athletic directors. It seems like Dave Hart and John Curry all kind of had like one good thing. You had the Rick Barnes hire and then the Tony Vitello hire. So
what was Fulmer's?
Yeah, that one I'm not. Never mind. So that's a good point. Well, maybe Kelly Harper.
That story is still being written too.
And she's she's off to a pretty good start. So, obviously some games left to win out there, but she's pretty young and a pretty good start. So maybe that's Philip Fulmer's, to be determined. I don't know.
Didn't John Curry bring back the Lady Vols too, or was that Fulmer?
I'm out on that. Right. I'm really not sure.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. It might have. I want to say it all happened when Fulmer was here, but it may have been something like put into motion by Curry's staff. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not really sure. That was that decision will never make sense to me for so many reasons. That's a weird
to take it away, right?
Yeah, it incredibly dumb, but I digress. So what's going on in Omaha? That's brutal. Speaking of things that just will never make sense to me, and save your, it's kind of like the Kaidon Salt thing. Save your marijuana is should be legal. Save the people should get vaccinated thing for a lot of reasons. But save it for this moment because that's not the point. People saying, well, if they were just vaccinated, this could have all been avoided. Well, I mean, it just feels like the NCAA is white knighting this COVID thing because there's 21,000 people in the stands. What was the COVID protocol before the NC State players were tested? Were they tested upon arrival? Because no.
I think all unvaccinated players had to go through kind of that same schedule, when they were doing everybody before the season or during the season. I don't know, during COVID, I guess.
Yeah. So my question is why? If this was going to be a thing, why were the players and coaches still not required to wear masks? Because vaccinated people can still get it and transmit it too. So they should have been wearing masks. Officials should have been wearing masks. Stadiums shouldn't have been. If this is the stance you were going to take, you can't be half in, half out on it. that can't be the case. If you're going to protect the players, you got to protect the players. If you're going to protect the fans, you got to it can't be a half in, half out. You choose when it's time to enforce it. So, and then I tweet, like, how can you be proud of the product you're putting on the field right now?
I mean, Vanderbilt gets an easy pass because they're going to throw Jack Leiter in that game on Saturday. So now that Jack Leiter gets another day of rest, he gets to pitch that first game in, the finals. So I mean, they're well rested, and they have all the advantage against Mississippi State. Mississippi State had to throw their ace last night and ended up winning. So yeah, it's just it's just really unfortunate how things played out for NC State. I feel for them that it sucks. Like that's about all you can say. It sucks. I hate it.
Yep.
I guess you kind of look at the vaccinate, like hindsight's 2020, but yeah, it's just a weird thing that I didn't think would ever come up in the College World Series this year.
No, I mean, again, no one was wearing masks on the field. No one was wearing. Didn't seem COVID protocols were in place at all. It's embarrassing in my opinion the way it was handled by NCAA for a number of reasons. You had the 2 a.m. news dump when they tweeted out. Jimmy, I guess you do have to kind of tweet that out. I'll take their stance with that. NC State was told at midnight, so you got to.
They were told at 1 a.m. I heard.
Well, the coach said midnight in his address. So,
okay.
But I mean that's not something you tell the team though. It's 7 or 8 a.m. You do tell them immediately. So to defend that decision, even though I think it's a terribly dumb decision, they probably could have done it at like 8 that night, which wouldn't have pleased a lot of people because it's 8 on a Friday. But still, you got to make the decision at some point. The team found out as soon as they should, or maybe they could have found out earlier. But yeah, I'll defend that at least a little bit. But it is a bad look all around, and the fact that 4 vaccinated players had it. So, save the vaccination argument because, again, COVID protocols were not in place. My next question, were they taking temperatures of fans? Were they – obviously they weren't making them sit 6 feet apart. They weren't making them wear masks when they walked around. If that's what you're going to, again, it's just – it's incredibly dumb. You were half in, half out, and then it's a bad look, and it's another just fumble and just – black eye on the NCAA. It's just it's dumb.
Yep. Because the NC State they beat Arkansas. There you had all they had to do is beat Vanderbilt once, and it was over.
Yep.
And so they played that game. They were missing 4 starters I think on.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about
Friday.
The original game. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were just. It was kind of over for them from the get-go.
They weren't missing 4 starters. They had 13 players.
So I did read Kendall Rogers. He's got all the details on the whole thing. And it is very confusing of how everything took place. I need to go back and probably read it again because I don't have all the facts. But it was just, again, unfortunate that it happened to NC State in the position that they were in. They're probably the favorite, or them or Vanderbilt were the favorite to win the College World Series, and now their season's over. It's not like they got to play that final game with 4 starters out and they got beat, and that's how they ended their season. That game didn't even take place. So for it to end like that, it sucks, and it's kind of like the way it ended for Tennessee last year. Except they're 1 win away from the College World Series final.
Right. It was more than 4 players out. They played with 13 guys on Friday night.
Right. So 4 players were
tested positive.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it was 6 total. I think it was 4 vaccinated and 2 unvaccinated, I believe.
I thought it was 8.
So 8 players total tested positive?
I think that's what that – I need to go back and read that article. It was quite a bit.
I'll go read it tonight. I'll follow along the tweets, and some of it you're probably getting some misinformation from NC State outlets that who knows what their sources actually know. Because the players only truly know so much. They aren't in the meetings and whatnot. with the officials. And honestly, I don't know if the coaches are either. So the coach, and that's not fair to the coaches to not really know what's going on. But it's just a messed up situation that was handled very poorly. And I'm, again, I don't really know. I don't have a great answer, but it's just like you didn't take it serious until maybe you were backed into a corner. And it's just messed up. It's messed up. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Ryan. Ryan said, so tell me why they still play one game with positive test and the next and cancel it. Yeah, I don't have a good answer. I think it was dumb. It was just a dumb situation all around.
Well, I think there's a certain number that marks it as outbreak. And so then they had to disqualify that team after that. But I think Saturday it wasn't up to that number.
Seems like 27 or however many had out on Friday. That seems like over half the team it was out.
Most of those were the people that they were contact traced.
Which, come on, your contact trace, like the whole team's been in contact. Like, so save that crap for me. Like if you,
but they tested them, but they weren't able to get their results back in time for them to go to the game. So again, like
that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. I need to go read I'm going to go read the Kendall Rogers. I didn't realize there was an article. I've been, obviously following along on Twitter, but I didn't realize there was an article out. So
yeah, just unfortunate. I hate it for them. I guess that's really all you can say about it. Poor on the NCAA. Another thing that's really poor on the NCAA is not having that third assistant, full-time assistant in college baseball. And that's why Tennessee lost a really good one. And, friend of the pod, Ross Kivett.
Yep. Good to see him go get paid opportunities, obviously. Like to keep him around on Rocky Top. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep guys around when you can't pay them. The fact, I mean, this entire staff is very special. And, they've just done a good job. This kind of plays into why we thought it would be hard for Vitello to leave. I mean, they genuinely like Tennessee a lot. I mean, a lot of these guys that have spent a fraction of their baseball life at Tennessee truly, are enjoying what they're doing around here. So, and I mean, that, like you said, if there was a third paid assistant, I don't have a question if Kivett would be in Houston or Knoxville right now. So
yeah, and got to talk to him a little bit the other day, and it all kind of happened in a 24-hour span. And it was just an offer that he couldn't refuse. But again, money, full-time assistant. I mean, and you're all the money you're making were based off camps. So being a camp director and COVID sucks.
Yep.
It's really hard to make money during that. So, yeah, he got that opportunity. So super happy for him. That Houston program, I think they had a losing record this year. But again, it's not a Power 5 school. They're in the American, but it's a program that, I mean, they're kind of like Cincinnati. It's basically a Power 5. A bigger school that really takes athletics seriously. I mean, they got Dana Holgerson from West Virginia. In the football program. So I think that's a good spot for him. Hopefully he finds his way and makes it back to Rocky Top one of these days. But, super happy for him.
Absolutely. And is Houston
again,
playing?
NCAA, you suck.
Right. I still do want the pay the third assistant shirt, by the way. I still want that. Was Houston, are they playing in that Round Rock Classic that Tennessee announced they're playing in? I know they're not. They did the first year.
I did go look at that. They are not.
I was trying to find the tweet about it the other day and couldn't. And then
that's actually going to be in Minute Maid Park, so it's not going to be in Round Rock.
Okay.
So it's not the Round Rock Classic. It's named something else. The name escapes me. But yeah.
I thought we were.
Yeah, it's going to actually be in the Houston Astros Stadium. So
okay, gotcha. I guess I should have paid attention closer to that information. But yeah, whatever.
But yeah, Kiv will be their hitting coach, and he'll be heavily involved in recruiting, which you saw the fiery and passion in Tennessee's last game. I can't imagine what he's going to do on the recruiting trail with that Houston in that Texas, in that state of Texas, where there's a ton of baseball talent in. Yeah,
that fiery passion. That's I don't know, what was that dude's name? I got blocked for, what did I even say? What was that dude's name? Corky. Yeah, Corky. I don't know. I got blocked for something incredibly stupid. I got it. It was pretty much just like he was like, "I'll have a conversation with Tennessee fans." I was like, "I just asked a question. Like, I didn't say anything derogatory towards you." So I don't know exactly what got me blocked, but yeah,
Nice, getting those blocks up, man.
What I wanted to say though is Cork is he is now a paid coach by university. So
suck it.
So yeah, now he is actually after all that. Oh,
and
he said when is it appropriate? He said when is it appropriate for a paid coach, whatever he said, to act like or to say this on national television? I was like every Saturday in the fall. Yeah, Nick Saban's GD in it, dropping the F-bomb. Like every Saturday in the fall, coaches, paid state employees are cussing on national television every weekend.
Yeah, didn't Butch Jones? He said "F them" to the whole Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, I want to ask about that moment. I'm curious about that moment, but
he's the guy who would be like, I didn't say that. I said vacuum.
Vacuum in the mall. Yeah, he wouldn't even. He'd be like, I was talking to the Tennessee fans, but that's not what I said. That's what he would say. Because I'm like, there's no like. Surely he's not talking about the fans, but it is Butch Jones, so you never know.
Right. Yeah. So Richard Jackson will take over that volunteer assistant and take over the camp duties as well from Ross Kivett. He was a pitcher at Tennessee from 2015, 2019. Had a really big year for them and out of the bullpen in 2019. Had a ERA of 1.4 and worked a lot with Frank Anderson this year. Frank Anderson is the guy who like changed his mechanics with his how he delivered the baseball, and that's why he had a breakout season in 2019. So it was a really big part of that team who was in a regional and or one win away from a super regional. So, yeah, Richard Jackson getting that promotion, pretty cool. Tennessee guy.
Yeah, I think it shows a lot about the staff that someone's wanting to, wanting to stick around. And the fact that he came back to the program, wants to be here. I think it says a lot about the staff, and I know you have that with just about every program, and the fact that they're willing to hire Tennessee guys. And I know it's a volunteer assistant, but they do make a little bit of money. Obviously, not quite what they deserve off those camps, but it isn't the worst gig in the world. But yeah, let's get the third paid assistant rolling.
Yeah, let's get it going. But yeah, I think that's huge for that program to have guys under Vitello go get promotions elsewhere. I mean, that's what you want. Yeah. That's what Rick Barnes does. We haven't seen a lot with the football program, but that's the kind of coaching turnover you want. I think Ross Kivett hit on that when he was on our show last. You want that continuity, and if you have to switch things up, you want it because guys got head gigs or a better paying job elsewhere.
Right. I mean, it was this isn't the head coach jump that Kivett was talking about, but this is a jump to a better position just because it is a paid position. Like I said, the third assistant isn't the worst gig in the world, but you aren't getting paid. Like there's a lot of money being left on the table that you could be making elsewhere. And it's, there's probably maybe some more responsibilities come with it, but he doesn't. I mean, the time and effort he puts in is very evident when he comes on the show. So I don't think it was. I don't think he'll mind the extra workload. I think it'll just be getting paid for it now. Yeah.
Then Ryan asked, y'all should break down the returners we have coming back for baseball, just what y'all's take. A lot of that's going to, a lot of those guys still have that extra year. I think the only guys that don't are Heflin, Durkee, and Lipsius. Those are the only three guys that I think are don't have any eligibility left. I think Evan Russell, kind of all those seniors have an opportunity to come back. Those juniors and stuff like that, guys are going to have their name in the draft, and we'll see kind of what happens with that. So it's kind of a revolving door. You don't really know what you're going to have back until that MLB draft, and some guys make a decision whether to use that other year of eligibility or not. Guys you're gonna have Drew Gilbert, you're gonna have Jordan Beck, you're gonna have Blade Tidwell. Those guys are gonna for sure be in this program. Kyle Booker, and another one that had a pretty big impact this season. Other than that, a lot of those are kind of up in the air, and that it is concerning. But I think a lot of those, like Evan Russell, could probably use that other year. Connor Pavoloni could probably benefit from coming back. Other guys, it kind of depends on where they want to hear their name called in the draft, what they're hearing from MLB scouts and things like that. So,
Right.
We'll kind of see exactly what Tennessee has, probably later on in this summer, heading into fall, and maybe we'll get you a better breakdown of what that team will look like.
Yeah, no, we can. Let's definitely talk about it soon. I know it'll be a lot of speculation, but I mean that, like you mentioned, though, the fact is next year's team is going to be very, very different. We're kind of regardless of whether some guys choose to stay. It's going to look quite different with the some of your key guys that have been here for a while. Obviously, they've been here for a while. Some of them are 6-year guys, so it is going to look different. And I'd love to discuss that, especially because Tennessee has is it number 6 mostly ranked? Because there's so many freaking outlets. Number 6 ranked recruiting class coming in.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect game. So yeah, I mean, and then you got to see like what guys are going into the draft and that. So, I know Ryan mentioned we have the number 1 shortstop committed. That's Brady House. Yeah. And he's not ever going to step foot on campus at Tennessee. I mean, he's a top 10 draft pick. He's going.
Right. So it's just the nature of that too. So we'll it'll definitely
NIL will have something else that's maybe that gives a reason to use that extra year. Maybe it gives guys a reason to not enter the MLB draft because they have the opportunity to make a little bit of money in college as well. So when we have a better idea, we'll kind of break down that roster a little bit. But yeah, there's just so many pieces that you have, and so many things that could see guys leave or guys return. It just would be impossible to kind of break that down right now.
Yeah. We'll do it though. We'll do it when we have a better outlook on the roster. Let's talk about some recruiting news. Had some guys on campus this weekend for pretty much all sports.
Yeah. So had some official visits. Getting those last official visits in June before that dead period hits July 1, and guys like that. You had some committed players. You had Vincent Sneed out of Winter Park, Florida, Brady Foley out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And then you had some, names to watch out for. Mo Clipper from Alpharetta, Georgia is a 3-star offensive lineman. Cam Miller, who's been talked about a lot in Tennessee's, really high on him. He's a 3-star wide receiver, a 3 or 4-star kind of borderline there out of Memphis, Tennessee. And then 5-star running back Branson Robinson. I think he's the number 1 running back in the country per Rivals, out of Madison, Mississippi. He's from the same hometown as Jimmy Holiday, and I think he spent kind of the weekend with him. You had 3-star linebacker Caleb Perry, 3-star defensive lineman Jordan Phillips, who's been here twice in the past month, and Caden Pope out of Savannah, Tennessee, Hardin County. I think that's where somebody on Tennessee's roster is from Hardin County.
It does sound familiar, but I'm not sure.
I know Hudson Wolf was from there, but he ended up going to Ole Miss. Is it Blakely? No, that's not Blakely.
I don't even have a good guess.
Maybe Bumpus. I don't know. It's one of those kids is from Tennessee, and Quintel Jones, a 3-star defensive lineman, was also on campus. So, I mean, nothing to really. You did have a 5-star on campus. I think that's huge of getting guys like that on campus. I just think it's going to be hard to compete with, Georgia and Alabama and things like that in recruiting when you don't really have anything to go off of. You got the NCAA violations and things like that. I just think it's going to be difficult for Tennessee to really recruit.
It was Latrell Bumpus, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I know somebody's from Hardin County on that roster. I couldn't think of who it was. It's just going to be difficult for Tennessee to really, put together a solid class right now. I think they got to win some ball games to do that. But I don't think you're going to beat out Georgia and Alabama. I think it was hard enough for Jeremy Pruitt to do it when he was giving people money. I just don't think it's going to be I mean, they got beat out by the freshman All-American at Kansas, Prutney.
Yeah, to
South Carolina.
Yeah,
I mean they're in a. When you look at the teams, the roster, you would think Tennessee's in a better spot than they are, but with the NCAA, you just don't know what that's going to look like, and I'm sure teams are using that against Tennessee.
Well, and both programs, it's interesting to see like some of these programs that have new coaching staffs. We talked about it last week. All that Heupel can do right now is sell the vision. So that player specifically just saw more in Beamer's vision than in Heupel's, I guess. I probably thought he fit the roster better, whatever it may be. It's. I don't think it's as simple as South Carolina's in a better position than Tennessee or vice versa. Just because there's also so many questions.
J.C. Horn go in the first round. I mean that's got to be something you can really sell. That hey, I know it wasn't me as the head guy, but we literally had the number one quarterback or cornerback in the NFL draft. Yeah, just last season. So, yeah, that's probably something that they probably used. And hey, if you got to use it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, did you see Michigan using? You mentioned coaching staffs. I mean, Michigan's had a monument to Taylor Wan and Charles Woodson and Tom Brady. I don't remember who else is in it. Did you see that? That's kind of weird.
I didn't.
It was like mannequins wearing their jerseys. And like them running out of the tunnel. I mean, I guess it was kind of cool, but it looked very weird. It was like an
Michigan did that?
Yeah.
Taylor Lewan went to Michigan. He go to Michigan?
Yeah.
Jack Conklin went to Michigan State. Okay.
Gotcha.
I was like, one of the Titans went to, but Jack Conklin isn't with the Titans anymore. But yeah, that's what I was. Oh man. Yeah, that's strange. I also saw, this is going to be my fail, but I'll go ahead and mention it since we're talking about it. I saw Missouri using a stuffed tiger as one of their recruiting props. I'm like, ugh.
That seems, I want to see the picture or video, but yeah, that seems very, very strange.
Yeah. I mean, the Tiger King, that just kind of, the Tiger name is just not, it doesn't carry as much weight now.
No, it's definitely lost its moment in the spotlight in the United States. It has.
Right.
So, yeah, not a great look for not a time for Tigers. 2020 wasn't a great year for Tigers. You had the Knoxville Tiger, obviously, and Tiger King. It just wasn't a good year.
Did they really put Taylor Lewan in that? I mean, like,
I think he's a big deal right now because of his like pop culture.
Gotcha. So I mean, like, that just seems weird.
Yeah. But I mean,
put him in with like Desmond, or who'd you say, was it Desmond Howard?
I'm sure Desmond Howard was in it. I remember Charles Woodson and Tom Brady were in it.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, Taylor. Yeah, Ryan said it. Taylor Lewan was in the front. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's strange.
I would say I'd say it has to do with his presence on social media, and then obviously I mean, he's getting paid right now by the Titans from that deal he signed back a couple years ago. I mean, he is a big deal in the NFL as far as like player recognition because he's outspoken. He has the podcast. Like, yeah, I mean, I would guess he's probably one of the more well-known offensive linemen in the league, like nationwide.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess you're using that as a recruiting thing. Exactly. So like, yeah, this is offensive lineman. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. You use it. If you got to use it, I guess.
It was weird. Don't get me wrong. It was weird. Yeah. I understand it.
I mean, when I think of monument, I'm thinking like a Mount Rushmore, and seeing Taylor Lewan on the Michigan Mount Rushmore is kind of strange.
It wasn't a monument. That probably wasn't the right word, but it's like the, how teams have uniforms in their facilities of like all their uniform combinations. So it's like guys wearing, and it looked like they were walking out of the tunnel at Michigan. Like, I don't know if it was in the stadium or in the facility or what, and they were like lined up, kind of like spaced out where you could walk through them. I'll find the video. It was on Taylor Lewan's Twitter.
Did you see the Oklahoma videos? Like all the kids taking pictures with like Rolls Royces like on the field?
No.
I'm like, this NCAA, hello.
Like, hey, they're just getting prepared for NIL, man. Just like, hey, we got a dealership right down the road.
I guess so. you think they're getting Rolls Royces in Lincoln?
They might. You never know. I'm sending the video to you right now. Ryan mentioned it. It was kind of weird, but like when you think about it, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it is. It's just it's strange. It's strange, for sure. Like the thing is it's them. Like it's a tunnel that looks like it's heading to the field. Denard Robinson's in it. But it's not going to the field. It's going to maybe the weight room.
Oh, Denard Robinson's in it? That's kind of weird.
Well, wasn't he on the cover of NCAA? He was a big deal in college.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who is is that Devin Bush?
Maybe. I'd have to go. I just clicked off.
Yeah, I'm
of it.
looking at it.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, these kids know. I thought it was something a lot. Like I thought it was like an actual like General Neyland statue.
No. Monument wasn't the right word. I don't know what the right word is, but it's not the right word. Monument wasn't the right word. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're definitely going to see some more teams do that because it was kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. But anything else for recruiting you wanted to mention? I know you got some of the guys.
I think it is big to get a lot of these guys on campus. Especially with the way your program kind of looks from the outside looking in. But it's good to get these guys on campus. I think you had around 30 official visitors in these last in the month of June. And so I think that's big. We'll kind of see if it leads to any recruiting or maybe a snowball effect. You saw Tennessee really pick up in the summertime last year, but again, you kind of had, the momentum of 2019 going into that summer. So, we'll kind of see where Tennessee's at. I think they got to win some ball games in the fall, and then we'll kind of see where this recruiting class really pans out. But I think they got some good good transfers, and I think this staff is doing as good a job as you can really in the situation that they're in.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. We'll see where they go this summer. I mean, it is nice to at least get guys on campus. You weren't able to do that any in the spring, so it'll be we'll be seeing kind of what they can do once they get guys in the environment for sure.
Yep,
for sure. And David Ubben of The Athletic. I haven't read the article yet. I read some excerpts on Twitter. He did a whole article kind of like talking about what the recruiting process at Tennessee's like, I guess, from the eyes of guys that have been on campus. So we'll see.
Yep. We'll see.
We'll talk some expectations here in a minute. We'll talk some expectations. First, let's get to the bad news. Also throw in, first, Kaidon Salter was dismissed from the team. Not really much of a surprise as he's been on campus for 6 months and hadn't practiced with the team at all. And just got off of that incident. I know charges were dismissed, but he was involved in the incident back in, what was that, March?
Yep.
And then gets into this situation, kind of dealing with this. It's the same issue too. It's not like it was something else, drug related. It was drug related, and it was just is what it is. I think Ryan mentioned it a minute ago in the chat. He's probably going to go ball out somewhere, and I kind of expect him to as well. I hope he can figure out whatever he needs to stay out of trouble. Because I think he can.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the talent in the world, but yeah, he's got to find the field without getting in trouble, and that's he's not been able to do that at Tennessee. So yeah, I think it was maybe time for a change of scenery, maybe come to Jesus moment and be like, yo, I got to do something else because what I'm doing isn't working. So I hope he learns from this, and I wish him nothing but success. But yeah, it just wasn't going to come in Tennessee with the two incidents. I mean, he's only been on campus since January. So I think kind of the relationship didn't start off well with this coaching staff. And then, another incident, it was just time to cut ties there.
Yep, for sure. For sure. I was going to say, and then Greg Emerson leaving. Greg Emerson announces he's hitting the transfer portal. Not good for a Tennessee. We mentioned this. Not good for a Tennessee team that doesn't have a ton of depth right now. Not that I don't know how much of an impact he truly would have had, but the fact is he was a body on the line, and you lose that.
Yeah, I think he's had a lot of injuries since being here. I mean, he was like one of the top prospects in Tennessee for that 2000, was it 17 class, I think. He actually committed to Butch Jones and then, signed when Jeremy Pruitt took over. And just kind of had some injuries and then, had a big impact his sophomore year. And then last year he only recorded one tackle, and it was the last game of the season against Texas A&M. So, not a huge impact last season. So maybe it doesn't look like a huge loss to Tennessee. But yeah, when you're talking about bodies and the depletion of this roster, you don't really want to see anybody leave.
Yep. That's it. You don't want to see anybody leave at all right now.
He will have 3 years of eligibility left. So wherever he goes. So I think that's, again, maybe change of scenery. A lot of these guys that have left, we're not talking about Eric Gray, some of those. A lot of players that didn't go to Power 5 programs, they weren't big losses. Like Eric Gray was a big loss. Key Lawrence was a big loss. Henry Toto, Kavaris Crouch, Wanya Morris. Other than that, like most of those guys went down.
Yeah, the reason it's a big loss is just because Tennessee needs bodies. That's really it. And it's hard you can't really get guys in here to replace them. So it's not like you can't even get guys that are there, equal if you wanted to try to find someone that could play with them. That you can't even do that. So it just hurts the depth. Ron asked if this affects Heupel's offense at all, Salter, if he had legit plans for him. I mean, I think getting another guy on there to compete would have been big, but I don't think Salter would have been seeing the field much this year. As far as that goes, especially after losing out on the spring. If he has spring ball, we could be talking a different story, but I think it would have been difficult for him to see any significant amount of playing time this year. Yeah,
and he wasn't a Heupel recruit. So I think that is something to say with, like, when you have plans for somebody, a guy that, just gets on campus, I think it's hard to kind of make plans. And then, he didn't go through spring practice. So I don't think he was going to be, make an impact this season anyway. So I think, Josh Heupel's offense will be probably between Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, and Harrison Bailey. And I don't really think it's Hendon Hooker. I think it's Joe Milton or Harrison Bailey, in my opinion.
Yeah. Interesting. So, wait, so you think it's Harrison Bailey and who?
Joe Milton.
Oh, okay. So you're taking Hendon Hooker completely out of it now. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, just watching maybe he does find a way to win the job. I just think with the way he looked during the orange and white game, and I know it's the orange and white game, you can't take a lot from it, but he just – nothing that he showed me that he was ready to be the starting quarterback. I don't care what he did at Virginia Tech. It just seemed like Harrison Bailey was head and shoulders better than he was. And then Joe Milton, we haven't really seen him.
Right.
So I think like that's why I'm putting him in that conversation. It could just be Harrison Bailey, but I think Joe Milton has the athleticism. He's like 6'5". I mean, he looks like a freaking defensive end. So, I mean, if he's able to really run this offense, do the decision-making for this offense, and, I know it is probably complicated at times. If he's able to, get it between the ears, I think he could probably – I think he has all the intangibles athletically to be a really good quarterback in this league.
Interesting. Yeah, I think going into the spring, we had a lot of expectations for Hooker just because he had probably the most experience of anybody on the roster. So that's definitely interesting. I think Harrison Bailey, I would agree talent wise. I think he's probably some of the better talent. Haven't really seen much of Milton, so I don't know for that one. But you did mention kind of some of his intangibles. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Harrison Bailey is kind of guy that everybody kind of wrote off as soon as Josh Heupel got the job because he's not that dual threat quarterback. Well, whoever, you got to have it, like I said, between the ears, and you got to go out and win the job. I think a coaching staff is, they got to get the best quarterback, and then they got to make a game plan around that quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think you can pinpoint what exactly you have to have this quarterback do. I think it changes with, the best option you have.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see because especially in Heupel's offense where that quarterback, I mean, it's important in every offense nowadays. It's hard to just get a guy who can come in and game manage. So figuring out how to not only choose that quarterback, but then also maximize it is it's going to be quite the task just because no quarterback, especially because you said you don't necessarily like Hendon Hooker the way he looked. No quarterback really just fits this offense really, really well, prototypically speaking. So going to be interesting to see how they can kind of, like you mentioned, pinpoint that quarterback and then make the offense work around him.
Yeah, and I just think like you have to have a quarterback in this offense that can take care of the football too, because looking at your defense, I don't know how many times you can stop an opposing team. So
Right.
if you're giving it up, you could see that scoreboard on the opposite end go up in a hurry. So you definitely want to have somebody that can hold on to the football. That's why I kind of just don't even mention Brian Maurer because he's very turnover happy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to find ways to protect the ball this year for sure. We've already got some expectations talk in the chat. The innocent culprit said 3-9. Mark my words. If you go 3-9, it could be a rough season because you have the ability. You should start the season at minimum 2-1, and you have the ability to start the season at 3-9 or 3-0. Excuse me. So if you go 3-9, if you're starting the year, let's call it 2-1. Yikes.
Yeah, and I think 6 out of Tennessee's first 7 games are considered winnable. And again, that's my opinion. But I mean, when you look at Ole Miss, Missouri, Pitt, Tennessee Tech, who am I missing?
Of the first 10 games?
First 7.
First 7? That's probably it because Alabama's after Ole Miss. So
yeah,
you got Bowling Green, Tech, South Carolina, Pitt, Missouri, Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I might take off that winnable game list. How much do they improve? Because, I mean, their offense was really, really good last year, obviously. If their defense can figure out a way to get those turnovers, they're going to be very, very tough to beat. I think I'm curious to see where Lane Kiffin goes to that program. So that might cross Ole Miss off that list. I might say 5 out of 7, but those other 5, in my opinion, look really, really good. I don't think you win 5. I'd like to be clear about that. I think there's 5 winnable games, but I don't think you necessarily win all 5.
Right. Yeah, I'm like I said, those first 6 are considered winnable. You probably don't win all those games, but yeah, I think you have a shot going into those games. I don't think you have a shot against Florida, Georgia, Alabama, but I don't. Missouri doesn't scare me when I look at them.
No,
Ole Miss doesn't necessarily scare me. I think if you're able to come out and beat a Pittsburgh team pretty good, I think you'll have some confidence rolling into some of those games.
I think Pitt's a great draw for Tennessee as far as scheduling goes with what you've got this year. A lot of questions, but you get to play a Power 5 opponent that's absolutely beatable. That chance doesn't come along every year when you schedule Power 5.
That game's going to be telling. It's going to tell you a lot where Tennessee is probably going to end up at the end of the season.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But Elijah Moore was a big part of that Ole Miss team, and he's gone. So that makes me a little bit – makes me feel a little bit better about Ole Miss. But it is Lane Kiffin. And skinny Lane Kiffin.
I know. Skinny Kiffin's back. What the heck, man? I think the SEC is going to be in for a rude awakening. I don't know. We'll see.
He needs a woman. Fatten him up a little bit. He ain't eating good.
No. Yeah, I think they'll honor Johnny Majors at the Pitt game. I think, isn't Pitt wearing something this year for Johnny Majors? Or are they just doing it for the Tennessee game? Or not?
I've read that. I don't know if it's just for the Tennessee game or all season.
Okay. But, yeah, they are doing something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it an anniversary of some sort?
When did they win the national title with him?
Yeah, that's what I can real quick, but I'm not sure. Oh God. Okay, so I want you to give me a record without saying like floor ceiling. Just say like what's the record?
6-6.
Okay.
You should win 6 games.
I think 5 and 7.
If you can't win 6 games in the schedule, you're in a bad spot. And I'm kind of having faith in this staff and this offense a little bit that they can score points.
I just think what scares me is like you're a year behind Mizzou. Yeah, you're on the same kind of track as South Carolina, but it seems like maybe they didn't have quite the mayhem of an offseason as you did. Vanderbilt should be there's definitely 6. My problem is I think there's probably only 6. I guess that means there's 7 winnable games, 8 winnable games on the schedule. How many of those winnable games do you win? That just makes me nervous. So
yeah, South Alabama, Bowling Green, Tennessee Tech. Those are 3. If you go 3, if you only win 3 games,
you got 3. If you only win 3, just hang it up. Forget about it.
Yeah, we're no longer. There's no debate on what kind of school we are. We're not a football school. If you win 3 games this season, but yeah, you have those 3, and then Pitt. Dude, South Carolina sucks. They were terrible on offense last year, and they were terrible on defense. I don't see them getting much better. I don't think they have any great options. Luke Doty he played receiver last year, and he's probably going to be their starting quarterback. So they have Marshawn Lloyd. They lost Shi Smith, who is probably their best offensive player last year. So I just don't. I think you should beat South Carolina. So that should be 4 wins. Vanderbilt, always terrible. That's 5 wins. You just win 1 game that you probably won't be favored in, and that's 6 wins.
Yeah, I want to agree with you so bad. So,
and one of those games is Pitt.
Yeah, I
kind
agree.
of a toss-up game. So, toss-ups would be, I guess, Missouri, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Pitt. You just got to win one of those.
Yeah, it's just like I know how bad South Carolina is. It's just we're bad too. That's my only issue. That's my concern.
But I think their bad is a lot worse than our bad. I think you have some options at quarterback where I don't think you do at South Carolina.
I would agree with that, but
you got to show it.
Yeah,
I think you have the coach that can get the most out of what he has at quarterback.
I think so too. To be determined in my head. That's my only issue.
I guess I'm talking myself up, man. I'm setting myself up. Is what I'm doing.
You're a little early though. What are you going to be at by September? It's not even July yet. You're ahead of schedule.
Undefeated, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's talk some. Anything else for?
We got some questions
around here,
on Twitter. So, D. Gray says, "Why no Vitello deal? Stadium issues with the road, etc." I think we'll probably see a Vitello new deal at some point in time. I'm sure they're working on that. He said he mentioned that him and Danny White have had talks. So I think 2019 when he got his extension, I think that was June 19th. They got back from Omaha not even a week ago. So, they're having to deal with some staff, things in place with Kivett going. They promoted Richard Jackson. So, probably getting all that in order and then, kind of see where they're at. And you'll probably see something very soon. Somebody said as early as tomorrow. I'd heard that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, in the next couple of weeks, you'll see that new deal probably roll out with Vitello and his extension.
Did you say there was a mention of maybe some holdup with the road as far as stadium goes?
Yeah, with the road, most people don't even use that road anyway, and I guess they're talking about behind it.
I think the plans in the renovation are to pretty much take that road out.
Yeah,
is kind of so. I don't know if is he saying that may hold it up or that may be a hurdle.
Yeah, you kind of close that road anyway for the super regionals and regionals. So it's not like you really it's a big deal to close the road. I do think that Tennessee is limited and maybe extending it out further. Like, I think they have to build, like we've mentioned, kind of build up and not, they couldn't build a TD Ameritrade Park where they're at.
Right.
They're going to have to build up instead of out.
They have enough room though to build a plenty quality stadium there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, what they've got going down the right field side is plenty good enough. I think you'd like to see, at least behind home plate covered, some things to kind of make it look like a ballpark. But yeah, I don't think they'll have any issues. But I did hear that seems like the road's probably coming out at some point in the renovation stage. So
yeah, and you can probably cut it out where the main entrance is. That whole road that you close for the watch party, I don't think many people drive on that road anyway. Right.
And I don't know if I think the first stage that you're going to see here real soon will just be completing the stands as far as down the left field side. I think is the first step you're going to see. That and the porch, I think, are the most pressing issues. Make the porch a little bit nicer. I think those plans that were leaked, I'm not going to confirm that they're real, but I think that's at least the idea of what kind of the first stage of the renovations.
Yeah, and the press box needs to be done. Like the whole entrance needs to be like when they redid Gate 21 and made it, that brick and things like that. I think that should be kind of what that entrance looks like because, I mean, it's an eyesore too.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't look great. I'm sure it'll be I think their first concern is getting more fans in there, and then they'll pretty it up as they go along. I don't think that'll be a need addressed too early on, but I think it is part of the plans. We'll see here. That's so maybe a Tony Vitello deal tomorrow, or at least a stadium announcement. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. And I think facilities also doesn't just mean the stadium. I think they wanted to get a new weight room as well in there. So it's again, whatever Tony Vitello wants is what he should get. Yep. So if he thinks that's a bigger issue than the stadium, then they'll probably go with renovating the weight room and things like that first.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Any other questions? I'm trying to see if we had any more in the chat.
We had one more. Dub himself said, "What's going to be the game day beverages for football season?"
I think I don't know. I mean, probably classic Miller Lite because it's cheap for 24-pack. So it's probably what we're going.
I wonder what will if how they're supposed to do the renovations where they have some kind of bar or something.
Yeah.
I wonder if that will have cocktails. I don't know who it's open to. If it'll be open to everybody.
I think that was just in up in your area. I don't think it's a special area. I think what they will sell along with that area is standing room only tickets. I know that's kind of become popular in baseball stadiums and hockey stadiums recently. I think Nashville did it when they were in the playoffs, in the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago. But I think that'll be a standing room only kind of deal with the bar and whatnot behind it. I don't know if they'll have liquor or not because they don't have liquor in the stadium. So I don't know. Well, they don't sell it anywhere. They do have it in the press boxes, but that's bring your own.
Right. And so is all the airplane bottles that you see empty on the way out.
Yeah, that's also bring your own. I wonder how much, comparatively speaking, how much of that you've seen the last 2 years with alcohol being sold. I wonder if it's less or not. Because, a lot of those people are probably under the age to legally purchase alcohol. So
right. Yeah. Yeah, you probably see a lot less than that. A lot less now that you can just buy beer.
Right.
Why am I going to go to a liquor store and, if they check good enough, they're probably going to find them.
Nah.
But yeah, usually you get the guy that – where was he at? The guy at the NFL game that was just like –
Oh, no, that was a soccer game somewhere.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, somewhere in Europe. He's just like –
You're good.
He's not even touching them. He's blessing them.
Or Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt doesn't check you at all.
Vanderbilt does not check you at all. I thought it'd be.
They're just happy somebody's coming in the stadium.
Yeah, come on in. Bring whatever you want.
It's like Central Filling Station. They let you bring a cooler and everything.
Yeah, Vanderbilt. I didn't know it'd be that easy. I would have taken a few more bottles because I needed it that game.
Exactly. Yeah.
I needed it. All right. No more questions. That's it.
That's all I got.
Most important of the week.
Most important. So I am the Shriners Hospitals for Children College Classic is the name of that tournament Tennessee is going to play in 2022 at Minute Maid Park. It'll be March 4th through the 6th. It'll include Texas, Baylor, Oklahoma, LSU, Tennessee, and UCLA. So you'll have Texas who put Tennessee out in Omaha. You have LSU who Tennessee put out in the Super Regionals. Who they thought they didn't want Tony Vitello. They did want him, and they didn't want him again after they hired Jay Johnson. So I think there'll be some fireworks in that tournament.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they will. Unless are they gonna deaden the balls this season after this year?
Maybe. I mean, like, how can you?
Yeah, make baseball fun again.
Yeah, with the bat flips and everything, that's what people want to see. Entertainment. That's what sports are for, right? Entertainment.
100%.
Let's juice the balls. Juice them up. Bases juice.
I want the balls juiced, and I want sticky substance. That's what I want.
Yeah, dude, let them play.
If you make contact, you're gonna that thing's going out of the park. But you gotta hit off the guy first.
Yeah. I mean, let's throw freaking tennis balls. I mean, let's.
Would those fly? Do those fly farther? I would think they fly less far.
They probably if you got a hold of a baseball and a hold of a tennis ball, the baseball is probably going to go further.
Tennis ball is going to easier to hit farther.
Easier to get a hold of.
Yeah, gotcha. My first one, keeping it in Tennessee here. This is pretty incredible. We talked about this either last week or last Wednesday or the last week. Randy Boyd, fit guy. He ran his 73rd half marathon in his 49th state this weekend. Yeah.
Jesus.
So
what states do they have left?
I got to assume it's either I got to assume Alaska. It's got to be Alaska or Hawaii, and I just don't think they're doing a lot of half marathons up in Alaska. So I could be wrong about that.
I feel like Colorado would be tough.
Yeah,
to run a half marathon in. That would be terrible.
Anywhere would be tough for me, but yeah, I think that would
That's true.
73 half marathons. It's hardly 40 marathons, but still. That's stupid.
How many
So that would be 73 divided by.
Does he run marathons too, or does he just do halves?
I don't know. He just tweeted that. I'm not sure.
Randy, we need all the facts here, buddy.
Yeah, come on, don't leave us hanging. Yeah, because what if he's ran 12 marathons?
So we do have another question. Avery Jankowski, I hope I got that right. Said, "Hello. Can you guys discuss our defensive back situation, including current guys and transfers?" Oh man. I think Alontae Taylor, Warren Burrell will probably be your starters. You also have Kenneth George Jr., who has a ton of experience. I don't really know where Tennessee goes on defense. Are they going to go that – I think they'll have a nickelback package, but is that going to be their main package? Danico Slaughter will probably be in there. I'm trying to think. Trayvon Flowers are going to be – and Jalen McCullough are probably going to be your safeties. I think you got Deshaun Rucker, who's now on campus. He'll probably have some sort of impact.
You gotta think. I mean, most defenses are that nickelback is their primary package now with these spread pass happy offenses. So yeah, I mean, I gotta think do you even have 5 defensive backs total on the team right now? It's gonna be a tough. It's gonna be. I mean, we mentioned it with this entire roster. It's gonna be a tough go around, not just to get guys that can play, but to get guys on the field. So
I think losing Bryce Thompson was tough, and then losing Key Lawrence on top of that was because Jeremy Pruitt, for him being a defensive back guru, did not get a ton of DBs at all while he was here. So, it's pretty depleted. Sean Schamberger departed. So, yeah, don't have a ton of options, but I think you got, quality starters, guys that have some experience
Right.
with Kenneth George Jr., Alontae Taylor, Warren Burrell, and then Danico Slaughter, played in that first game last season as a true freshman. Trayvon Flowers is an all SEC preseason team guy, and then Jalen McCullough has. So you have some experience, so I think that's good. But behind those, if you have some injuries and stuff like that, I think it's going to be pretty thin at defensive back.
Yeah, I don't know really. That's it. That's all you have to say.
You also have Kamal Haddon, who
is that the kid from Auburn?
Yeah, that's a kid from Auburn.
Okay, so you do have some help coming in, but it's gonna. I mean, you just don't have a ton of guys, and then the guys you do have, there's a few in there with some experience, but you don't really have a guy that's played a ton of nickel. Avery, mentioned it. Banks is probably a 4-2-5 guy. You're probably gonna see a lot of nickel this year just by how what you need, and it's a thin position with not a ton of just proven talent. If there is talent there, it's not proven yet.
Yeah, I think Christian Charles is a true freshman too. He'll probably get probably some looks there. I think he had a really good spring. He was an early enrollee. So, yeah, you could see him maybe get a go at the nickel or, one of the corner spots. But, yeah, I think, Alontae Taylor, Warren Burrell, Kenneth George Jr. are probably going to be your corners. And then Flowers and McCullough are probably going to be your safeties with, Rucker and Christian Charles and Kamal Hayden. I don't know what Hayden, whatever his name is, really looks like. We haven't seen anything from him. I know he's a bigger corner. So maybe, I just don't know what he really looks like. I think you got a ton of experience, ton of experience with the guys you have, but you don't have a lot of guys.
That's a big issue. I think Travion Flowers, I thought he played really, really well last year, but mostly in run defense. I think there's a lot of questions about guys who can. We talked about it. Turnovers. Who can go and create turnovers? Who can go and get the ball? That's a big question with this defensive backfield, and that's the thing you need. You don't expect them to grind out 3 and outs and get defenses or offenses off the field. You expect them to make plays for the offense. Who's going to make those plays? Because if you aren't making them, I expect to get scored on. Because I don't expect you to grind out series.
Yeah, and Theo Jackson, Tamari McDonald are two other guys who have some experience in that defensive backfield. Will probably be lined up at safety, maybe nickel. You could see either one of those guys at either one of those positions. But, I just don't know really what you have because you didn't get a lot of great play from your defensive backs last season besides Bryce Thompson and at times Trayvon Flowers. McCullough looks slow, and, I know he dealt with some injuries, so – we'll kind of see where things are at. Yeah, Alontae Taylor, Kenneth George Jr., Warren Burrell, none of those 3 guys really impressed me last year. So I think that's Alontae Taylor. From a leadership standpoint, I think he is a starter. I think he has those intangibles to be a really good. You saw that in his freshman year to be a really good player in this league.
He was great in the run defense last year as well. So
yeah. But just, the bonehead plays keep him humbled.
Absolutely. I should have music start playing on my end.
Go.
Hopefully I got it off. There we go. I don't know what just happened there. Scared me, though. Bryce Thompson will absolutely be missed. Absolutely. He didn't get to play a lot on the outside last year, so just by what was done. But
yeah.
Did you see this one? This one's for you, definitely. Avery asked, any potential recruiting news, rumors coming down the pipeline? I think there might be something expected tomorrow, right? Did I read that?
I haven't heard anything about tomorrow.
Okay. Then I just made that up. Make something up for tomorrow.
I mean, you possibly could. Guys, being on their official visit, they go back home and talk about it and then make their decision. So that could be something. Maybe Quintel Jones or Masai Reddick, who visited 2 weeks ago. Maybe one of those guys commits. Ryan Brubaker is supposed to make his decision July 4th. I don't know I don't think it'll be Tennessee. So, his dad went to Penn State. I know he's getting crystal balls for South Carolina too. So it just doesn't seem like Tennessee is really trending there. Yeah, I think you could maybe see a couple more here in the next couple weeks. But I think the official visits have been going well. Yeah. Every interview that I've seen with Eric Kane and some of those guys at VolQuest seem to really like this coaching staff. And everything that they're telling them, before they meet them, when they come here, it's true and then some. So I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see where this team goes. As far as recruiting, I mentioned if this staff's able to give some big commits, I'll be pretty impressed just because of the situation they're in, not necessarily due to their own.
Yeah, and I think it, like, being in the situation that you're in, I think you want to do a better job in state. I mean, like the only player they got in state is Elijah Herring, and he's the number 28 player in the state. So, want to do a better job in state. Maybe Cam Miller, Isaiah Horton, some of those guys. I know they've had Walter Nolan on campus twice in the month of June. I think that's big. I don't know if they, like I said earlier, competing against every team in the country for Walter Nolan. I just don't see Tennessee coming out on the winning end of that one. But I want to do a better job recruiting in state because I think it's going to be tough to recruit outside the state with a position that you're in.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, most important of the week. Did we already do one? I feel like we did.
We did. We've done a couple.
We got caught into getting lost here.
That's kind of all I got for most important. I do have a couple fails.
I've got a fail too, and I'm glad I kept this one. So Patrick Beverly was celebrating at some point. So our man Cork, this one got lost in all the Tennessee hate. He tweeted, it was not that long ago that if Pat Beverly had done this, he would have been accused of flashing gang signs. He's pretty much just doing this.
Love it.
Like, peace up, 8 down, but sideways.
There you go.
That dude's an idiot. How does he – I'm not a cancel culture guy, but I wish he had gotten fired just because he doesn't seem intelligent enough to hold a job. So –
Oh, Cork.
Corky Gaines. Is that his name? Gaines?
How do you not change your name at this point? That's what I want to know.
Also, Dub himself told us that Madison, Mississippi is a suburb. I don't know if you remember this. We were like, could you name where Madison, Mississippi is? And we were like, absolutely not. So we got a geography lesson. We're geography guys, so it's good to learn. Madison, Mississippi is a suburb north of Jackson. Most famous alumni is Stephen Gostowski. He knows that because he went to high school there. So
okay.
Stephen Gostowski is from Madison, Mississippi. I would not have guessed a guy with the last name Gostowski came from Madison, Mississippi.
Yeah, it's in a suburb of Jackson, Mississippi. But hey, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I did have one more. Hold on. Oh, it was a tiger that Missouri's using, the stuffed tiger.
Oh, God.
Here.
That's it. That's your fail of the week?
You can't see that, can you? Damn.
No, I got to get – oh, God. Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah.
It's like a full tiger.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not good looking.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Yikes.
Looks like you're trying to lure kids in, Missouri. It's kind of weird.
Fail of the week? I don't know if I have any.
Oh, I have one. DraftKings.
Any more, sorry. Oh, what'd they do this time?
I bet on a boost that Kamal Rocker have 10 strikeouts and Vanderbilt would win before all the COVID stuff happened. They end up playing the game. Kamal Rocker has 11 strikeouts. Vanderbilt wins. They void my bet.
Why'd they void it?
I don't know. I guess because the time changed. The game got moved back. I don't know. I'm just like, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I mean, it wasn't like I didn't put a lot of money on it.
Yeah,
but
that's still no, that's messed up. I agree with you. It's messed up. Come on, DraftKings, be better.
Be better. That's all I want. Be better.
DraftKings been like royally effing me on some golf bets. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's not been fun.
Mm.
Not been fun. I don't have any more. You have any others?
That's all I got.
Guys, it's been a fun one. We will be back Wednesday doing some off-season grind. We're in the summer. It's been nice to just not only not think about football, but it's also been nice to like actually have content and not really be kind of making it up. So that's been fun. Shout out to baseball, but now it's time. We
We'll have to get some more special guests and things like that on here to
absolutely
kind of pass the time and feel some content.
We'll do it, guys. We appreciate y'all listening. It's been fun. We'll be back on Wednesday, same time, same place.
Yeah, have a good rest of your week. Monday sucks, but if you missed this, I guess if you're listening to it, you can't really listen to it on Monday. Go back and watch it again. That'd be fun.
Wait, you can't listen to this show again on Monday? Is that what you said?
I'm saying if like you're hearing this,
you've
you've already listened to it, so you're probably not listening to it on Monday. But
you can, but also have a good Monday.
Yeah, have a good Monday. Have a good rest of your week. We'll see you back on Wednesday. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.